Hi, this is part of my Braving the New Year podcast series. Welcome. I had no idea when I created this series several weeks ago and began to think about questions for each episode that there would be so much going on. I knew that it could be a hard year, mostly because the last few years for many of us have been very difficult post pandemic, inflation, and division. Just so much that is weighing a lot of people down. And then as I released the first episode, the Los Angeles fires broke out. And even right now, I'm sitting just miles from a new fire that broke out. And so I'm coming to you also during a week where, for me and for many people that I love, incredibly difficult changes are being made. Things that have been essential to the fabric of this nation are being undone. And and so I'm coming to you from that very honest place of saying to courageously get out of bed every day, um, or getting out of bed every day is a courageous act. To keep going, to keep facing every 24-hour period and saying, I'm going to live today. I'm going to choose to keep moving forward, to keep taking a step in the right direction or in the direction that I know is most right in this moment with the information that I have and with God's help, with the help of my community. Today's question is, what needs summoning? Your story is important, and it is connected to and born from the stories of people living and dead that have loved you into existence, given you life, fought for life. It is this way for all of us. Thinking about the stories that make us helps us to know more about who we are, and they can propel us into the future. I think thinking about the stories that make us helps us to be braver and to keep going. In her memoir, Crazy Brave, the poet Joy Harjo writes, I was entrusted with carrying voices, songs, and stories to grow and release into the world, to be of assistance and inspiration. These were my responsibility. I am not special. It is this way for everyone. We enter into a family story and then other stories based on tribal towns and nations, lands, countries, planetary systems, and universes. Yet, she says, we each have our own individual story to tend. And so we have these stories that we've inherited and we need to care for and pass on. And also, we each have our own story. The next step of this journey is for you to summon up meaningful family stories that you have inherited, or maybe they're community stories too. Perhaps they are stories about ancestors, matriarchs and patriarchs, tall tales, mysteries. Maybe particular historical events greatly impacted your family, your community. What happened? What themes emerge when you think about what kind of family you come from? If you are adopted or you grew up living with different adults, consider the stories of your childhood. What does it mean to you now? What kind of person did your experiences shape you to be? What are the values or virtues that these stories teach you? The stories coming up for you, no matter what kind of childhood you have, depending on the kind of community that you come from, might be ones related to suffering. These too can be summoned up and give you strength. Rumi says, the wound is the place where the light enters you. I love that. Within you, there is a well. It has been filled by those who loved you, and also by those who have come before you, ancestors, and a community you were born into that has navigated suffering, struggled to live awake, and been witnesses to the world's beauty, goodness, and meaning. As you consider today the stories that have made you, what moves you? What needs summoning? This podcast series on braving the new year is based on my new book, Braving Difficult Decisions, and you can order it right now on Bookshop or Amazon. If this podcast means something to you, it would mean so much to me if you would rate it or subscribe to it if you want to make sure that you get each episode in this series. This is your gentle reminder today. You are braver than you think.